most amazing artist. I hope you are having a great day today. I'm really excited about today because we're going to be painting some beautiful paper for our collage. So to do this part of our project today, we will need, of course, a blank piece of paper. We're going to be using some watercolor paints and a paintbrush. I have a white oil pastel and a black oil pastel, a little bit of water to wake up our paint, and a pencil to write our name, and we are also going to be using some salt, and this is just regular old table salt that you can find in the grocery store, and I'll show you what we're going to do with that in just a minute. Since we are painting, I do have a messy mat under my work. And the first thing I'm going to do is, of course, this is a new piece of paper, so I'm going to write my name on my paper anywhere that you want to, and then I'm going to flip it over, so now my name is on the back. Once you have written your name on your paper and then flipped it over so your name is on the back, then you're ready to get started. If you're in my face-to-face classes, then when you get to your table, your piece of paper will already have a line drawn down the center. And that's because on one side of our paper, we're going to be using our oil pastels to draw different lines and paint on top of them. And on this side of our paper, we're going to do a really fun technique that is different than over here. So let's start with the line side of our paper, and you can use your white oil pastel or you can use your black oil pastel to draw your lines, whatever you would like to do. You could also do both of them if you wanted to, but what I'm going to do on this side is I'm just going to draw some different kinds of lines. This is a bumpy line, and I'm going to do a couple of bumpy lines. And then I want to do some dash lines. And just because Miss M is choosing these lines for her artwork doesn't mean that you have to. You can choose whatever kinds of lines you want to. There are spiral lines, there are loop lines. What about diagonal lines? Ooh, what about a wavy line and a zigzag line? There's so many different lines that you could choose for this part of your project. Now I'm going to take my white oil pastel and I am going to draw some more lines. And I think I want to do a zigzag now. And notice I'm using a white oil pastel on a white piece of paper. So you can't really see it that well. But when we put our paint on top of this oil pastel is going to push the paint away, and we will still be able to see those lines underneath the paint. And you want to be careful because oil pastel can be smeared really easily. So I'll show you on the back of my paper just so you can see what might happen. So let's say you drew a bumpy line and then your hand accidentally smears across it. Look what happens. It gets really messy. So you have to be super careful not to drag your hand across the lines that you have drawn, okay? So just be mindful of that while you are drawing your lines today. We do not want to smear our oil pastel. I think I want to do a pattern. You know, a pattern is something that repeats itself. So I want to do a black spiral line, and then maybe I want to do a white spiral line. And then I'll repeat that and do another black one, and then do another white spiral line. So that's a pattern. You could definitely do a pattern using your two different colors if you wanted to. Let's do a wavy line. I'll do a wavy line in white too. And I only have a little bit more space down here, so you want to fill up 1/2 of your paper with lines all the way down to the bottom. And I think I'll do some more bumpy lines, but this time I'll do my bumpy lines in white. Alright, after you fill up 1/2 of your paper with your lines using black and white oil pastels, then you are ready to start painting. Now let's talk about these paints for a second. These are called watercolors. Right now they're very, very dry. Look, I'm putting my finger in them and no color is coming off of these paints. That's because we have to use water to wake them up. These paints are acting very, very sleepy right now. We have to wake them up with water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ballerina paintbrush and I'm going to dip it in the water. I'm not squishing because I don't want to break her little tippy toes. Be gentle, my friend. She is a ballerina. She likes to dance on her tippy toes. And I'm just getting some water on my paintbrush, and then I'm going to choose my first color. What color do I want to choose first? I think I'll choose green first. So once I have some water on my paintbrush, I'm going to go over to my green paint, and I'm going to just put water in it by adding water to this paint and moving it around just a little bit. We are waking up this paint from his nap. Wake up, green paint. Come on, it's your turn. You need to wake up because I want to use you for my painting. Once your paint has some green on it, it's kind of hard to see, but in real life I can see green on the tippy toes of my paintbrush, then I know this paint is awake. It will not be awake unless you add water to it. So you have to add water to your paints to wake them up. Once your paints are awake, then you can start painting them on your paper. But we're just doing this half of our paper first. Do not paint your other half just yet. Every now and again, you're gonna have to get some more water because these paints will start to dry up. So just use your paintbrush, get some water on your paintbrush, being very gentle. We don't need to squish her tippy toes. And then grab some more of your paint. But I think I'm done with green now. I want to choose a different color. So I'm going to clean my paintbrush and I'm going to draw an X in the bottom of my water cup here. And then if you get too much water and it starts dripping a lot, then you want to say drip, drip, wipe it on the lip of your water cup, not the lips on your face, silly head. The lip of the water cup. That's this edge of our water. Drip, drip. Wipe it on the lip so then we don't get drips of water all over our painting. What color do I want to do next? I think I want to do yellow. Let's see what yellow looks like. Yellow's still sleeping. Hello, I need you to wake up. It's your turn, yellow. So I'm going to grab some yellow and I'm going to wake it up. Wake up, yellow paint. It's your turn. All right, I see some yellow on my paintbrush, so I know that yellow is ready to be used. And as you can see, I'm kind of doing stripes of color on top of my line. Look, remember where I used the white oil pastel and I drew zigzag lines? Look, that oil pastel is pushing this paint away and my lines are starting to show up. Wow, that looks so cool. I love using white oil pastels and watercolors because it's kind of like a surprise whenever you paint on top of them. And it's time for me to choose a new color, so I am going to choose red. Let's see what red looks like. Red is still asleep, so we gotta wake him up. Wake up, red paint, it's your turn. Hello, are you awake yet? Oh, I think you're awake. Good morning, red paint, it's your turn. Let's go ahead and get on my painting. Ooh, that looks beautiful. You can see where my white oil pastel was, and it looks so cool. And my paint's starting to dry up. Anytime your paint starts to get dry, just add a little bit more water. All right, let's change color again, and let's do blue this time. And my blue needs to wake up. Hello, blue paint, it's your turn. Wake up, paint, wake up. And he's awake now, so I can put him onto my paper. Wow, this looks so beautiful. I love all these colors and different lines. And I think I have room down here for one more color. So let's see, what color do I want to do for my last color? I think I'll do purple. Let me grab some water and wake up my purple paint. Wake up, purple paint, it's your turn. Good morning, it's time to wake up. Oh, he's awake now, so I can use him and put him onto my paper. He looks so cool. Look at those bumpy lines that I drew with my white oil pastel. And once all of my paper is covered with beautiful colors, then I can start on the other half of my paper. Okay, but we have to be very careful with this side because it's still pretty wet and I don't want to mess it up. So don't touch this right now because that paint has got to dry. And on this side, we are just going to put paint for now. So you can do whatever colors you want to, and we're gonna paint it just like how we did over here, kind of, except for we didn't put any lines down, but we do still have to wake up our paints if they're dried up. So I'm just adding some water to my blue because I really loved how the blue looked. It looks absolutely beautiful. And can you see how wet this painting is? Your painting needs to be pretty wet for this technique that we're about to do to work. So make sure that you're using enough water and you're not having a dry painting. And as you can see, I'm doing this pretty quickly because if I take too long, then my painting is gonna dry. And this technique that we're about to do will not work with a dry painting. Your painting has to be a little bit wet, okay? And for my last color, I'll choose purple. So I decided to choose all cool colors down here on this side. Cool colors are blue, violet, and green. And after you're done adding all your color, making sure that your painting is not dry. If you have to, you might have to add some more water on it. And Miss M might ask you to do that whenever she comes and looks at your painting. She might say, uh-oh, that's a little bit too dry. Can you please add some more water to that? And once you have enough water on there and it's still wet, you need to raise your hand nice and quietly and wait your turn, okay? Because Miss M is going to come around with a little cup of salt, and she is going to sprinkle some salt onto your painting. And what this does is it creates a really beautiful texture whenever it dries. It looks really, really cool. But Miss M has to do this for you guys because it's kind of tricky, and it's really important that we don't add too much salt, because if we add too much, then our painting will be a little bit too salty, okay? So Miss M is going to do this for you guys, but after she adds salt to your painting, then you will be done for today. And next week, when you come back to art, you'll get to see how this painting dries. So, like I said, after Miss M gives you your salt on your painting, then you will be done. This painting needs to go carefully on the drying rack, okay? This painting's very wet. If I pick it up like this, look, all that paint starts to drip down. So don't hold it up like this. Hold it flat, okay, on your messy mat, on your tiny messy mat, and it will go onto the drying rack. Be very careful and make sure you're holding your painting with both of your hands, okay? Do not try to hold it with one hand because then it will definitely fall on the ground. I hope you guys have a lot of fun creating this beautiful painted paper today. I can't wait to see how they turn out. I know they're going to be amazing because you guys are amazing. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.